Good morning to everyone. Myself N. Kalpana. I'm from Sri GK Jain Higher Secondary School, Royapuram. For more educational video, please subscribe our YouTube channel.
Today for the 12th standard, I am going to explain the lesson is coordination chemistry and the topic is nomenclature of coordination compound. So in the previous videos we discussed about what is a coordination compound. So we already know about the compound. Compounds means a combination of an atom. It is called as a compound. What is the meaning of coordination compound? Coordination compound means it is a complex compound which is not able to dissolve it easily. That is a coordination compounds. Okay. So now we are going to see about the nomenclature. How we have given the name for such compounds. In before that these kind of nomenclature is not there. So then who the scientist whoever discovered the complex compound, that compound we have given the name for the scientist after the scientist name. Okay. Example, see the example, it is a Ziesel salt, Magnus salt. Okay, this is a compound which was discovered by the Ziesels as well as the Magnus. But later on we have discovered a lot of compounds are there. We cannot continue the same name. That is why we have followed the IUPAC names. IUPAC rules for giving a name of such compounds. Okay. What is the meaning of IUPAC? What is the expansion of IUPAC? International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. They have followed the certain rules to giving a name of such compounds. Okay. First thing is here we have followed the three rules. While giving a name of a coordination compound, we have to follow the three rules. First rule is the cation is always in the name first. So whenever, for example, if you see the complex compound, okay, so how can you split the compound? It will be in a two thing. One is a cation, other one is an anion. The first which is coming, no, it is a cation, the other part will be the anion. If it is dissociated means K4 plus is a dissociated into K4 plus as well as these compound. So K4 plus here it is a cation. So when you see the example, the complex compound is first as well as the simple compound. But here what is a cation? This complex compound is a cation and the chlorine is a anion. First which is come as a cation and the second one is a anion. While giving a name, you just follow the thing whichever first. That means you have to given the name of cation first, followed by the other compound. Okay, that is the first rule. And second one, the simple ions are named as an other ionic compounds. For example, what is the meaning of simple and the complex? So in the compound itself you can identify the both things will be there. One is a simple, other one is a complex. Here K4 is a simple. The compound which is present inside the square bracket, it is a complex. So here it is a simple, here it is a complex. Here it is a complex, that is a simple. While giving a name of a simple compound as such in the ionic form, whatever the name it is there, no, you don't add any kind of suffix or prefix to that. Just whatever the name is there, you just give it as. Okay. Example, here K is there. So you have given as a potassium. If Na means sodium, then Cl means chloride, then SO4 means sulfate. Likewise, you have to given the name as such in the ionic form. Okay. And next one, the third rule is in a complex ion, first, okay, let me go on with the simple as such in the name. Let me move on to the complex compound. So in a complex compound, we will be having two kinds of substance. One is a central metal atom, other followed by the ligands, isn't it? So ligands is always indicating in the normal bracket. So in this case, Fe is a central metal atom, Cn is a ligand. So whenever you have given the name for the complex compound, first you given the preference to the ligand followed by the central metal atom. Have you all understand? If you taking the complex compound, okay, first you have given the simple. First you have given the cation followed by anion. Okay. Then we move on to the cation if it is in a simple and complex. Simple means as such name it will be there. Whether it is cation or anion, whatever it is. Simple substance means given as a simple name, common name, normal name. Okay. Complex means whether it is in a cation complex, anionic complex, whatever it is. First you have given the name for ligands followed by the ion. Isn't it? Let's see the example. When I am go ahead with these compound, first I am giving the name for K, potassium, because here it is a cation. So it is a started from potassium followed by the complex compound. While giving the complex compound, I am just started with the cyanide followed by the ferrate or iron. Okay, the same rule here is also. When the complex cation means first I am giving preference to the cation. Here it is a complex cation. So while giving a name, first given to ligands followed by the metal, then anion. Okay, this is the second rule. And the third rule is in complex ion. So this is the third rule, ligands followed by the central metal atom. So first we see the ligands. In a ligands have been classified into three types. One is the anionic ligands, other one is a cationic ligands, other one is a neutral ligand. If it is a anionic ligands means you have to end with O. So whether the ligands, three kinds of ligands is there. If the ligands is anionic ligands means the compound, the substance which has been end with O. For example, if Br is there means bromide. The actual name of the Br is bromide, but you have to give it as a bromido. Chloride, Cl means chloride. You have to give it as chlorido. Then cyanide, you have to give it as cyanido. End with O. If the ligands are anionic means the name end with O. Then if it is cation means the name end with IUM. There are two cations is there. One is NO2 plus, it is a nitronium. Then NO plus, nitrozonium. So end with IUM. If it is a neutral ligands means it will be having such a name. It is not having suffix and all, it will be having a different name. For example, En. In the last previous class also we discussed that what is the oxidation state for En, EDTA, all those things. No, En means whenever the ligands are, it is in the En means you have to give it as a ethylene diamine. EDTA, ethylene diamine tetraacetate. Then PPH3, PH is a phenyl group. Triphenyl phosphate. Pyridine. If it is H2O means aqua, carbonyl, amine, nitrosyl. Likewise, you have to given for neutral ligands. Is it all clear? So when you move on to the ligand, so for complex compound, when it is in the complex compound, central metal atom and the ligands are there. First you have to given the name for ligand followed by the central metal atom. So if you consider the ligands are of three types. Anionic ligands, cationic ligands as well as the neutral ligands. Anionic ligands means end with O. Cationic ligands means end with IUM. And the neutral ligands, it will be having such a special names is there that you have to refer over there. And next one, amphidentate ligand. What is the meaning of amphidentate ligand? So amphidentate ligand means ligands, it has been bonded with the central metal atom, isn't it? So amphidentate ligands means both the compound in the ligand have the possibilities to bond it with the central metal atom. See here, Fe, it is bonded with Cn. If the cyanide is an amphidentate ligand means the carbon, the C is also bonded with the Fe, possibilities is there, as well as N is also have the possibilities. You can write it as NCN is also there. So the two ways, the two compounds which has the possibility to bond it with the central metal atom. Let's see with the example when I am taking as a thiocyanate. So okay, what is the formula for thiocyanate? SCN. Okay, so here the central metal atom which is bonded with S means you have to mention the term with the symbol of K, that means kappa symbol. Okay, so how can you write the thing? It is a neutral ligand, that is why you have to end it with O, thiocyanate. So it is a neutral ligand means end with O. ThiocyanidO, kappa, which one is bonded? Here S is bonded. So kappa S. Okay, suppose if C is bonded, if N is bonded means how can you write? ThiocyanidO kappa N. ThiocyanidO kappa C. Likewise, which particular element is bonded with the metal means you have to mention that it will applicable only for the bidentate ligand. So if it is a normal ligand means only C is a possibility is there. If it is a bidentate means all the elements have been possibilities to bonded with the central metal atom. And next one, number of ligands. how many number of ligands are there? So if it is a 2 ligands are there, here how many number of ligands? 6 ligands are there. Likewise, if it is 2 ligands means you have to write it as di, 3 means tri, 4 means tetra, 5 means penta, 6 means hexa. So in this compound 6 ligands are there. How many ligands? 6 ligands. So started with the name of hexacyanide. Likewise, you have to given the name. In case, suppose if you are having a EN, what is the full form of EN? Ethylene diamine. Already the di will be in that. Okay. If you take it as a compound without anything, for example, cyanide. Here we don't have di, tri, tetra, penta. All those things it is not being there. So based on the number of ligands, you have to give it as a di, tri, tetra, penta. But in this special cases, En is there. What is the full form of En? Ethylene diamine. Already in the name itself, the di will be there. So how can you write here 2 ethylene diamine is there? If it is write it as a normal way means di ethylene diamine. Already di will be there. So if already di-tri will be there, no, you can be used instead of di-tri. It will be bis tris tetrakis. Bis means 2. So when I am writing a ethylene diamine, how can I write 2 moles of ethylene diamine is there? So bis ethylene diamine, because di is already given in the, it was in the name. So instead of that di, I am using a bis. Is it all clear? So then while giving a name based on the number of ligands, you have to mention it over there. Di, tri, tetra, penta. But if it is already the ligands having the name of di-tri means, instead of using this name, you can use the bis, tris and the tetrakis. And finally, so these are all about the ligands. So the complex compound means first you have given the names for ligands followed by the central metal atom. Ligands, based on the classification of ligands, you have to given the name. Anionic, cationic, neutral, whether it is a amphidentate ligand. Then last one, it is a central metal atom. How can you find the central metal atom? In a complex compound, you find the ligands. So the ligands which is bonded to the atoms, no, that is a central metal atom. So if it is a cationic central metal atom means, how can you find the cationic central metal atom? See, if you taking as an example, here it is a cation. Here, so it is a simple cation. So here central metal atom in the anionic place. So here it is an anionic central metal atom. Here if you taking here in this example, the first it will be splitted CONH36. Here CONH36 is a cation. What type of cation? Complex cation. Okay. If it is a complex cation means the central metal atom is a complex central metal atom. Okay, so suppose complex cationic central metal atom means, as usual you can write the name itself, like chromium means chromium, Fe means iron. Likewise you have to give it. If the central metal atom plays in the anionic part means, so this is the anionic part. This is the anionic part. Here the central metal atom is there. It is the anionic central metal atom. If the central metal atom take part in the anionic place means end with ATE. Example, chromium means you have to write chromate. Zinc, if it is in the cationic part means just like zinc. But in the anionic part means zincate. Then aluminium, aluminates. Platinum, platinate. Copper, cuprate. Likewise you have to given the name end with ATE. So these are all the general IUPAC rules for the nomenclature of compound. So based on this rule, we have to follow all the steps to giving the name of a compound. Thank you.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.